What's up guys, welcome to the channel, first video on the channel, first video in general that I'm making. And I'm just going to be talking about how the Kings started off the season, and a rating for the players, rating for Luke Walton, and yeah, I'm just going to be talking about what I've been seeing, and how we could improve as a team. So, I'm just going to be talking like a podcast style, no cuts, just straight talking through. And I'm going to have timestamps for each player in the comments. So if you want to just skip to your favorite player, you could just skip through. First off, for Luke Walton, I'll give him a B-. Luke Walton has learned a lot from last year. He's picked up the pace, which is something a lot of Kings fans were complaining about, and what I was complaining about myself with his coaching. And he's coaching with urgency. He knows that if he's the worst team in the West this year, he's fired. He shouldn't be coach, and he won't be coach. And out of timeouts, he's drawing up plays that gets guys open, like Glenn Robinson the third. He'll get guys like that open for three out of these timeouts, and you didn't see that at all last year. Sometimes his lineups are questionable, like not playing Bagley. I don't know why he refuses to play Bagley sometimes, and he plays Hassan Whiteside a lot. He plays Buddy too much. Buddy has the most minutes on the team, and he's been playing pretty poorly in my opinion. So I'm giving him a B-. He can improve his lineups, but coaching wise, he's doing a good job. He's improved. Next, I want to talk about De'Aaron Fox, the superstar of the team. He's playing really well, but he needs to make that all-star leap this year. He needs to prove he's worth the money he got. And I like the aggressiveness and how he could take control when the Kings miss the last 5 shots. He'll just take the ball and get a bucket, which the leadership is great. He's having an MVP season for the Kings so far, and he's improved his shooting. He's shooting more, which the statistics aren't looking good for him because he's shooting more, but he's shooting with more confidence, which I like, and he's making more threes and more free throws because he's getting a lot more. I'd like to see him shoot around 80% from the line and like 36-37 from 3. Right now he's at 30% from 3 and 70% from the line. But I'm giving him an A-. If he's shooting better, he's having an A+ season. But just improve that shooting, and that's all I want to see out of Fox. Just go to the gym and shoot. Next up, Buddy Hield. Not liking what I see out of Buddy Hield. Like I said, he averages the most minutes on the team, and his player efficiency rating is the worst on the team. When he shoots bad, he's terrible. He's almost unplayable. And he wants to get out of Sacramento. He wants to be traded, and he's not playing well enough for us to trade him. He's still averaging 15 points, but his shooting is just not where it should be. He's only shooting 34% from 3. Should be around 40% or a little higher. If he wants to be traded, he has to play better. His playmaking is a little better. I think that's due to us picking up the pace. But he needs to shoot better. I'm giving him a C+ so far. If he's shooting like he should be, he's at a B+, A- type season. But improve that shooting, buddy, please. Next up, we have Harrison Barnes, the most consistent player on the Kings, and he's having a great season and is super underappreciated. People slander his contract and say he's overpaid, but he's worth the money for the Kings, especially for the Kings. He's not going to go out there and get 25+ points a lot, but he does what the Kings need to win. Second most minutes on the team at around 35 minutes a game, which is a lot. He has 7 points a game and 17 points a game, 7 rebounds a game. He's playing really well. He's super efficient, and especially in the small ball lineup where he's the big on the court, he's super efficient in that lineup. He's having an A season so far. I'll give him an A. His defense is also pretty underappreciated. He could switch on a bigs, which is really important for the Kings. Again, Harrison Barnes, super underappreciated season. I love what I'm seeing out of Harrison Barnes. great season for Harrison so far. Next up, Marvin Bagley. Oh, Marvin, man. Starting a lot of controversy in Sacramento. Polarizing start to the year, and he's a polarizing figure in the Kings community. A lot of people want him out. A lot of people believe in him. I believe in him. I don't want him to leave. But, I mean, he'll go from looking like the best big on the Kings to the worst in just a quarter. In the games he plays great. He has a lot of promise as someone who could be, I think, an 18 points per game, 10 rebounds per game kind of guy. And his defense needs improvement. That's the number one thing. That's why he's taken out of games and doesn't play the fourth quarter, because his defense just isn't good enough to keep up with Richaun Holmes' defense. He only plays iso ball. He isn't a team player, which I think is hindering him, that he doesn't really know how to play as a team. And Luke Walton doesn't know how to utilize him as a team player or in any team plays. His passing and rebounding is still not what it needs to be. His passing is terrible. He averages 3 turnovers per 1 assist. That's just not going to cut it. That's just not good at all. Don't give up on Marvin Bagley, though. The Kings community is harsh sometimes, especially to our bigs. And I'm giving him a C so far. I love what I see out of him when he plays well. So I can't overlook that. Marvin Bagley, I believe in you if you're listening to this. Shout out to you, Marvin. Next up, we got Richaun Holmes. Love this man. The Kings fans love this man. Way different from what we saw to Willie Cauley-Stein. This dude plays with effort, with energy, and he's just a great guy to have on the team. He gives it his all every game, and he looks fantastic almost every game. You know, when he plays well, you kind of don't notice it. Like against Houston, he had a game where he had like 20-something points, 15 rebounds. And, you know, you didn't notice it until the Kings broadcast put up that stat. And when he plays bad, you don't really notice it either. He's super efficient and a great defensive matchup. He's fast on his feet. It's kind of like Marvin. He can move around pretty well. But Holmes uses his body more than Marvin, so his defense is a little better. I'm giving him a B+. What I like, especially out of Richaun Holmes this year, is that he's not fouling out of games. That was a huge problem last year. He fouled a lot, kind of like what we saw from Harry Giles. R.I.P. Harry Giles, I love you, man. He's not fouling as much as he has been, so I'm giving him a B+. There's still some games where he gets in foul trouble, but great season so far from Richaun Holmes. Next up, I'm going to be talking about our Rookie of the Year, Tyrese Halliburton. He's super composed as a rookie. You can't say enough about his impact on the game, the impact on the team he has. And, you know, his shooting, that's like the most surprising thing about him, in my opinion. Like, we knew he had a high basketball IQ. We knew he was a composed player. But his shooting, he's shooting 88% from free throws, 48% from 3. He's shooting the lights out. It's incredible what he's been doing. And his shooting form is just not great, but the jumper's translating. So, you know, if he could shoot like this, he's going to be an incredible player. He's shooting almost 50% from 3 right now. I mean, small sample size, sure, but he's shooting great. And his playmaking is incredible. Biggest knock in his draft stock was how he couldn't make plays, but he's one of the better playmakers on the Kings. You give him the ball, he's making a play. Sometimes he makes flashy passes, which I don't like, but, you know, he's one of the best playmakers on the team, which was kind of like his drafts. People said he wasn't a good playmaker, which I don't know what they saw in him. He has an A+ in my opinion, should be Rookie of the Year. And especially in Chicago, he won that game, 15 points in the fourth quarter. Man, Tyrese Halliburton, I love you, man. I love you. Next up, I'm going to be talking about Nemanja Bjelica. A little underwhelming season so far from what we saw from him the last 2 years. And he plays with less motivation, it seems like. and I think it's because we got rid of Bogdanovic. I mean, they're both Serbian players. They both known each other a long time and speak the same native language, and they were really good friends on the team. So it looks like he's playing with, like, he lost gas. He was playing with a flat tire, almost. His motivation's just not there. He's not playing at the same level as last year, but he's still really efficient. And you know, his shooting's a little worse this year, but he's still a great shooting big. We know what he could do. You could put him in at the end of the game, and he'll make the game-winning shot like we saw last year in Houston. I'm giving him a B minus. Shooting could be a little better. It could just have a little more effort, but we know Nemanja Bjelica is a great player, and obviously I'm not going to give up on him after 7 games. Next up, we have Corey Joseph. A lot of Kings fans wanted him gone even before the season started because his contract, it just doesn't look good, but dude's playing really well. Super consistent, and coming off the bench especially, he plays really well. I really like what I see out of him so far. Solid role player off the bench, and he could get a bucket or make a pass. And he's a really good defender. He's been matching up with some of the best point guards in the league. Him and De'Aaron Fox have had a tough time, but they're holding their own. I'm giving him a B plus for his role so far. We knew he wasn't going to be playing 35 minutes a game, but you know, with the time he's on the court, I love what I'm seeing out of him. I wouldn't mind trading him. I wouldn't mind keeping him. A lot of options at the trade deadline. Monte McNair has. Moving on to Glenn Robinson III. You know, in the beginning of the season, I don't think Luke Walton knew how to utilize him as a player, and he just didn't play all that much. But Luke's starting to figure it out, especially in the Houston game, the second Houston game. I noticed that's when he started getting more playing time, looking more comfortable on the Kings. And, you know, he makes big threes. He's a consistent shooter, and he's a great ISO player. You give him the ball, and he'll ISO, get a bucket. What I don't like is when Luke Walton draws up plays, he's sometimes non-existent. Sometimes he'll just be isolated in the corner, which can sometimes lead to an open 3. But you know, in a half-court set, he's just kind of non-existent. He just kind of stands in the corners, and inbound plays, he's really good. But in half-court sets, you don't really see him moving around. He's great help off the bench. I love what I'm seeing out of him recently, and that's a great pickup by Monte McNair, especially for the minimum. I'm giving him a C plus so far. It's gonna improve as he gets more playing time and gets more comfortable on the Kings. C plus so far. The last player I'm going to talk about is Hassan Whiteside. You know, he signed for the minimum after an incredible statistical year. I think he averaged like 18 points and like 15 rebounds, I think it was. I could be wrong on the stats. But, you know, after an incredible statistical year, he's had an insane drop-off in his statistics. Only averaging like 12 minutes a game, which, you know, in recent games he's been non-existent. He hasn't even played. 5 points a game, 4 rebounds, not even an assist a game. And he's slow offensively and defensively. He walks like he has some mental issues. But, you know, last year the Kings were, I think, one of the worst, if not the worst, rebounding team in the NBA. And he's had a huge effect. Now they're in the top, I think they're a top 8 team. I think the stat I saw in rebounding. You know, he's helped a lot with rebounding. So for that, like for his role, he's okay. With certain matchups, he's unplayable. Like with faster bigs, like Wiseman, you just couldn't play him against Wiseman. But for his role, which is just a rebounding big, get down there, rebound the ball, help with the rebounding, he's playing well. I'll give him a C, just a flat C for his role so far. Overall, I'm giving the team a B+. They've exceeded my expectations. only one game so far that it was a blowout, which honestly they should have won against the Warriors. Um, that game they just played terribly. They looked like they didn't want to be on the court. That was without a doubt the worst game I've seen in the last like couple years out of the Kings. They surprised me with how good they started at 3-1, and those wins against Denver, that win against the Suns, really surprised me. They're beating playoff teams. It didn't surprise me when they went on that losing streak. That didn't surprise me. I didn't think they'd be good at all going into the year. But at 4-3, they're winning close games, which is something last year we lost almost every close game. Every win they've had has been close, and at 4-3, you're gonna be like right now we're the 7th seed. I don't expect us to be a top 6 team. I could see us in the playing game if we continue playing like we have been, but I don't want to be in 9 seed purgatory forever. I don't want to be just out of the playoffs and a bad lottery pick. But I like what I'm seeing. They're winning games. B+ as a team. I really do like what they're doing. And the final thing I'm going to go over is the Kings commentators. New changes in commentators. Grant Napier out, and he's replaced by Mark Jones and Kyle Draper some games. Start with Kyle. He's an underrated announcer. He brings that energy I love when I hear him on the announcement. Mark Jones, he's super professional, but Kyle, he has that energy. I love Kyle. Mark Jones, professional. Wow. I love when he announces games too. So it's a win-win when either one of those are the head commentators. And Doug Christie, same old Doug Christie. Dude is a beast. I love Doug Christie. He has that energy just like Kyle, and that's why I think Doug and Kyle are great mix. But Doug and Mark Jones are also fantastic together. Doug Christie, every game he talks about assists. He goes, the Kings need to get more assists. Every game, you see him talking about that, which I love out of him. Thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far in the video, shout out to you. Just hope you guys have a great day. I hope the Kings keep winning, and I hope the Kings can make the playoffs. They haven't been in the playoffs for a really long time. I would love to see this team in the playoffs. So, see you guys. Peace.